Okay, I'm going to start with this image from my homepage because it explains my interest in my topic. I am a logophile, which means that I love words. I study them and I savor them and I collect them in lists. And here are some of my favorites. Sesquipedalian, God help me, is a fabulous adjective that describes a very long word. And it literally means 1.5 feet long. But tonight I'm going to tell you about a special kind of word called an eggcorn. And this term came about because of a woman who thought the word acorn was eggcorn, which actually makes very good sense because an acorn is shaped like an egg, and acorns give birth to oaks the same way that eggs have chickens. And so an eggcorn is a kind of a malapropism or a word goof that makes perfect sense. So if you hear somebody talk about old-timers disease instead of Alzheimer's disease, or if you hear someone talk about a mating name instead of maiden name, or a whiteboard instead of a whiteboard, that is an eggcorn. Some people call a bald head a ball head. And if you've heard of a bald-faced lie, that comes from the British term a bare-faced lie, which just means that it's out there and flagrant and shameless. But some people think that it is a bull-faced lie because it's so obvious. And someone online that thought for years it was a bull-faced lie and thought that people who were good liars had very round faces. So I was recently looking for an Airbnb, as I do, and I noticed that they had this in-law suite, S-W-E-E-T, and it really is adorably sweet, and that makes perfectly good sense. They have the correct spelling up there right next to it as well. Fans of The Office may remember when Michael Scott thought that when people fall in love, they've been struck by Cupid's sparrow. He said, something like, funny little bird, but he gets the job done. So this is just a one-letter off eggcorn, but it is perfect because some female praying mantises perform sexual cannibalization and eat the heads of their mates. So that's the prey. Okay, epitome is sometimes pit of me. Heartache is hard, so you sometimes get heartache. Selfie, I love this misspelling of selfie. And often if you pique someone's interest, people think of a peak, so that happens. I just listened to this great memoir by the comedian Ms. Pat, and I noticed that when she said the word curb, she pronounced it curve. I listened to it several times, but that makes perfect sense because it curves alongside the road. She's not alone. It's common. Okay, this reminds me of a story my friend Nora said. When her daughter was 4, she was swinging on the playground. The nylon ropes made her hair do that. And her daughter said, "Look, Mom, my hair is ecstatic." Some people call this a pedestal instead of a pedestal. And if someone's really rock solid and dependable, you might take them for granite instead of granted. Okay, the eavesdrop is where rain drops from eaves, and so it's a very good place to eavesdrop. But some people say eardrop or eavesdrop because it's so easy, and some people call this the feeble position instead of fetal position. Instead of a wrought iron fence, you might hear rod iron fence. I know why some people spell asterisk with an X on the end. Makes sense. And you might hear car links instead of car lengths. Makes sense. Post-stick note makes sense. How about an escapegoat? And when you nip something in the bud, you keep it from growing, but lots of people say nip it in the butt, which I guess means keep it in line. This kid on Twitter, it's called a handburger because you hold it in your hands. And a very good side dish to a handburger is this chilled salad that some people call a cold slaw salad instead of coleslaw. Skimp milk is where they skimp out on the wonderful fat. Here's a witchy board instead of a Ouija board. And someone's kid on Twitter, she said he calls it a rady heater, which makes perfectly good sense. So if you want to contribute to or learn about Eggcorns, go on Twitter and you can use that hashtag. There's a database of over 600 Eggcorns that you can check stuff out. And then I found this on Facebook, the Eggcorn Hunt Club. And now I say I am internally grateful for your time and attention.
Holy shit. How many of you just learned a lot of things right now? Oh my God. I've seen a lot of Ignite talks, and that might be the best one so far. No